What's up guys, ZiSotto here, and today we're talking about the patch notes for patch 5.20, 5.20, A Necessary Darkness. Not sure where that name's coming from, but we will jump right into the patch. First, before we even get to these skins, what has been announced on Twitter recently and also emphasized again with these patch notes is there will be a Zhong Kui skin in December, and it will apparently not be a Christmas skin, and it's going to be a big skin. That's what we've been told so far. So that should be really cool. We've been waiting for a long time. That's a good part on the skin front. And let's look at the other skins here quickly. The first one is Artio Fiend Hunter. And this one is also, as many people have already pointed out in the live viewing, a Bloodborne references. And it's extremely cool in my opinion. I like this style a lot. I think it's a very, very cool. She looks a bit less aggressive in game, unfortunately. I wish they would have kept this aggressive style, but still overall very cool design and my favorite skin from this patch. Then we have a Dark Elf Neith skin, Moonlight Scout. Now it's a Neith skin, like, because we need more of those. Because, I don't know. The Kukulkan skin also has a lot of skins, but not the most. And this one is actually pretty cool. It's Dragon Doggo. I think this is just a cool concept that's very different from the ones that he has so far, even though he already has a cutesy one. This one is very different from that as well, and it's probably going to be decent. And we have Convention Cerberus, just basically just the recolor for worlds. We have Terra, Terabyte, kind of a cyberpunk / Zarya crossover. Zarya from Overwatch, because she has this whole cyberpunk theme going, but she also has this deep Russian voice and these Russian tone voice lines. So a bit of both, and the visuals obviously as well. I think this one is pretty cool. We haven't seen the effects yet, but I think it's pretty decent. Then we have Hou Yi the Hunter. I think the skin looks cool, but at the same time, I think Hou Yi has enough dark, edgy skins. He's got the one that I'm not sure what the actual name is, the dead shot one, basically. He's got the robot cowboy one. So kind of all look like this already, and all have this like black-red color scheme, and this one's gonna have the same one again. Again, we haven't seen the animations. It seems like it's a bit more fire going on here, but overall, it just doesn't seem like it's something that would have a lot of audience still after the other two, but who knows? I think Hou Yi has enough good skins anyways. He's got so many cool skins with the Urkai skin and the turn into a bush skin as well and whatnot. I think he doesn't need another one, but hey. And we have Ra Phoenix, also a world skin. Technically not a convention skin here, but also part of that bundle, which I think, as much as I've been told, will be 1,500 gems. We'll look at the whole contents in a bit. I think this one looks really, really cool here. Really nice style and some funny voice lines as well. That, I have to say, for the Hou Yi skin here, it's got some really cool voice lines as well. We're going to listen to the voice lines now, so if you're wearing your headphones, make sure to turn your volume down, just in case these might be loud as usual.
Although I hold this curse, I will still fight for those who cannot fight for themselves.
We Dark Elves have a bad reputation, but we can't help being better than everyone else.
Dragon Day is the best day at Pupper Daycare! Come join us!
It's just a default voice pack here.
What you got? I can fix anything. For a price.
I'm no hero, but I am the only one who can finally put an end to this madness.
I have lived 1,000 lifetimes, so trust me when I tell you that I know what I am doing.
And with that, we're moving on to the other stuff. So Terra's Odyssey, the new skins will be Fiend Hunter Artio, which I'm absolutely going to buy. Moonlit Scout, which I'm absolutely not going to buy. Startled Peacock Global Emote. I like a Startled Ostrich, so I'm down for that. And Hera's Companion Recall skin. So I'm assuming this is something with Argus calling you back to base or something. Could be interesting. And then you get a Dragon Doggo Kukulkan as the bonus item, which I don't care about enough to go with that. And then we have the Season 5 HRX Digital Loot Pack. What a name. Again, it should probably be 1,500 gems because that's what it was the years before. It's Convention 2019 Cerberus, a Terabyte Terra, the Hunter Hou Yi, so I guess I'll get that anyways, and Phoenix Ra. As well as some items along with that. You get a Phoenix Fire Fountain FX, you get the SMITE World Championship Phoenix Fire Jump Stamp. Okay. SMITE World Championship Rocking Announcer Pack. I'm not quite sure what Rockin' Announcer Pack is. They haven't mentioned that in the patch notes at all. I'm not sure if this is a mistake or if it's actually a third announcer pack in here. We'll find out. And Dark Wave music theme. Could also be interesting after the minimal hip-hop one they already released. Might be something, you know, unique. And we have an aggro announcer pack and a taco announcer pack. Then you also get 750 fantasy points and a giant chest roll. Project Olympus. Escape menu has been updated artistically and functionally. They actually told us on the patch notes that there was going to be something that, like, for Project Olympus that people really were asking for and looking forward to. I'm not sure what why it's the escape menu or what they changed or what functionally changed, especially because that would be relevant. I'm assuming they took out the Facebook livestream thing. Maybe something for crossplay? I'm not sure. Then you have some new additions to the awesome chest, being Midnight Raven Isis. Oh, that's cool. That's actually a pretty hard one to get at the moment, I think. So roll quite a bit, and having then the awesome chest is pretty nice. Fantasy Point Store also gets All for One Freya, Harajuku Neith, and Stargaze Anubis. And new loadout items are Chernobog Announcer Pack, 8-bit music theme, Shooting Stars, Fountain Effects, and Magic 8-ball jump stamp. And we have a lot of fixes. Fixed relics in the local matches cooldown timer continuing after pausing match. Fixed Bull Demon King and Joust not using line attack. Fixed an issue where spectating matches back-to-back could crash the game. Fixed an issue where rewinding while spectating could crash the game. Fixed Chernobog only incorrectly having special to... whatever, it's gonna skip the skins here. It's just some skins weren't exactly doing what they wanted to do. Something for Cutting Edge Ola, something for Evil Spirits, Barkos, Spark, Shonen Spark Mercury, and Warlord Kumbhakana. And then in the UI, fixed missing clan icon when purchasing item in the clan store. Fixed custom draft joust games only having 3 bands instead of 4. Fixed some players missing parts of their ranked history tabs on their profile page. This is actually interesting for some, I guess. Fixed Rage and Iron Tyrant loading frame displaying the wrong ranked icon. Fixed ranked enemy teams bank time changing to an incorrect value when reaching the pick phase. And we have some console-specific fixes as well. You can read them right here. It's just some issues like fixed Xbox crash when 4 accounts were logged in at the same time. Maybe don't do that. But yeah, just some minor fixes here and there as well. And then we have some fixes for the guards too. Amaterasu fixed an issue where Amaterasu's ultimate would appear to play more than 3 times in a single fire. This was actually super confusing, so I'm glad this is fixed. You just basically had a 4th swing and one of them didn't do anything. Then fixes for Hera. Fix an issue where Hera's ultimate could go on cooldown without summoning Argus if she was interrupted at a specific time. Fix an issue where her ability 1 visuals would sometimes play more times than intended on a single fire. And fixed missing Hera guard description in the about section. Raven. Fix an issue where his ultimate animation would appear to play more than once when fired. This is interesting because it's also a very long-standing bug. So Cat. Fixed ultimate description showing incorrect damage values. Her damage was not changed. And Sri Lanka fixed an issue where players could experience frame rate issues when playing this card. That's also nice. Item balance, none. Because Hyris decided that 5.20 is gonna be the HRX competition patch, so to speak. And they don't want to do any more changes for this patch. The strange thing to me is, if they chose this patch as the competitive patch, then it can only be for bug fixes, which they could have implemented in like a minor patch beforehand. And then could have just done 5.20 as a patch with actual changes already that not go into Worlds and just use patch 19 something, because really nothing happened in this patch that is relevant for Worlds. The only things we have are new skins, which I don't think are going to be used at Worlds, or are not an essential thing. And we have Hera changes who cannot be played at Worlds. And like I said, other than that, it's just bug fixes, which they, I guess, could have done earlier, because normally not something to do in a big patch. And it's just a bit annoying because we don't get any guard changes, but I guess it's so we also know a little bit better what the meta is by the time World comes or something, whatever. But Hera is the big talking point, and Hera has been changed, and we've already kind of seen the changes that are coming, but we still have some things to talk about here. I'm going to read it also quick. Hera has graced the battleground with her presence and has been creating a great amount of community discussion. We specifically intended to avoid an OP release with Hera. It seems we succeeded, but went too far and she's clearly undertuned. I would like to heavily underline this once again. I still get people commenting, well, I'm glad she was released balanced. She was not released balanced. She was released underpowered, undertuned. She is not performing on the same level as other gods. Sorry for bouncing that. That's not balanced. Balanced is the middle ground. OP, underpowered, balanced. She was not released here. She was released here. That is the issue. And that's why we're talking about it so much. She was released unsynergistic and underpowered. And that's what's going to change in this patch. Hera's focus going forward will be her control. As a divine leader, she has influence over others. We will be looking to buff parts of her kit that align with this theme, while also adding a few damage increases to bring her in line with other mages. And this is really heavy hitting. Like, you'll understand. Commanding Presence damage from Royal Assault and Polymorph also reduces the cooldown of Divine Shroud by 0.33 seconds. Now, I am assuming this only happens after the shield ran out, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm actually, from the top of my head, I'm not sure how this works. But this change will have an impact because of the cooldown of the 3 so long, but it's not going to be a massive impact because in most situations, you will get this off like maybe 2 ticks. It's a bit unclear on damage from, because Royal Assault can technically hit 3 times, or it can only hit as 1 damage instance counted together, depending on how they want to count it. So depending on that, the cooldown will be reduced more or less. It could be reduced anywhere from 0.33 seconds to a whole second. But technically, or typically, you will not see much more than, I would say, 1.3 seconds reduction anyways, maybe 1.6, unless Royal Assault gets hit twice, fully connects, and does the reduction, the maximum reduction that it could possibly do, and it would be like 2 seconds. So not absurd, but it obviously helps. Then Royal Assault itself increased base damage from 75 to 255 to 80 to 280. This is relevant, not so much because of the damage for gods, but also because of that, but more for clear, because a clear is going to be very, very strong with this now, because you already had very good clear with this beforehand. It was definitely not a bad ability once you got like past the first 1 or 2 levels, and that's ramped up a little bit more. And with minions being weaker in early game, this obviously has more of an impact that way. So that will make a change for laning. And a little bit of extra aggression, obviously, in later stages as well. But the big deal starts with Polymorph and kind of continues with the rest of the theme here. So Polymorph's enemies are now slowed by 20%. And that part is the most crucial change, because now Polymorph sets up Royal Assault, and also if the enemy is fast, it may set up your ultimate landing on the enemy. That is very strong. You have to land the Polymorph still, obviously, but that is very strong. And gets even stronger. Divine Shroud fixed the in-game description to accurately state how much shielding Hera receives, so that was a little bit off, and she didn't get the shield that she was intended to, and whatever. So increased shield health from 40 to 200 plus 15 per level to 50 to 250 plus 20 per level. So the max shield, this is the important part here, goes from 500 HP to 600 HP. 600 HP shield, keep that in mind. And now we have Argus the Defender. Increased deploy range from 55 to 65 units, meaning you can hit your ult at a further distance. Increased maximum leash range from 85 to 125, meaning he can chase enemies longer. Increased protections gained from 15 to 35 physic protection and 15 magical protection to 25 to 45 of both protections. Increased Argus health from 700 to 3000 to 700 to 3500. Increased crash landing damage scaling from 35% to 55%. Solid 20% scaling on the ultimate, which is still a decently large AoE. Argus attack increased targeter range from 65 units to 80 units. Argus second hit in chain reduced self-movement penalty on Argus ground slam windup from 50% to 35%. Increased slow duration from 1 second to 1.5 seconds. Now, why do I think this all does so much? This is something I very recently realized, not like early when I read this first, otherwise I probably would have pointed it out right away. But there's a combo with Argus that you can do that's pretty straightforward that people have already been doing a little bit here and there. So what you can do is you can drop Argus, and with a CC you can set up your 2 or your 1. Now the problem is you have to choose which one you set up. It's probably smarter to set up the 1, but then the enemy can get it out before you can hit the 2 afterwards possibly, or whatever else can happen in the meantime. And it's just, yeah, it's still a bit clunky anyways. But now, with Argus and with the polymorph, what you can do is you use Argus to knock an enemy into the air, hit them with a polymorph right after, which is very, very easy. That's Argus sets that up very well. That means they are slowed. That means that Argus is very likely to hit 2 basic attacks. One is pretty much, not immediately, but pretty quickly. And the second one, the enemy is still slowed by that usually, or most likely at least. And then Argus will hit his slow, which his second basic attack is, because it has less of a wind up and the slow is then also longer. So it's much more likely at least that he hits it. And this slow, or either of these slows really, can set up for Royal Assault, meaning that you have a much higher chance of hitting Royal Assault. And your combo with Polymorph and Royal Assault is obviously also easier to hit already, so you're gonna do more poke and lane, but this is really the big whoop. If you get a Polymorph Royal Assault on an enemy, you take a little bit of health off them, and then you wait out your cooldowns and they haven't healed up, it's a good chance you can do the Argus into Polymorph into Royal Assault combo, pop your 3 for extra damage, and the enemy will die. Like, depends obviously on your level, on the items, on your build and all that, but it's definitely within the realms of what is a possibility in terms of damage output, especially with the increased scaling on Argus ability as well, and the fact that Argus will follow you much longer while dealing the damage with Divine Shroud, and you being slowed at the same time, so this whole time you will also take more damage from Divine Shroud, which Hera can basically throw into a chain without even interrupting at all. But it's not even just that. It's also that you can amplify the whole thing with Gem of Isolation. And Gem of Isolation is already a good item on Hera, I would say. It's not crazy, but it's good. But what you can do now is you can drop Argus. I'm actually not 100% sure if Argus will proc ability effects when he drops. I think he does, and I think he should, because it's still an aggressive ability. So we'll assume that it does, but it doesn't actually even matter. So either that procs Gem of Isolation, or you throw the polymorph right after that. In either case, the enemy will be slowed. And the enemy will be slowed heavily now, because now you have the 20% plus 45%. And that means that you can, slow someone. Diminishing returns will have an effect there. It's like 43% slow in the end, but it's enough for you to set up your Royal Assault. And then Royal Assault itself, obviously, will do a lot of damage as well. Will continue the slow. Argus himself will continue the slow, and Divine Shroud will tick down on you at the same time, the whole time, basically. So a build that includes Gem of Isolation with Hera should be very beneficial now, also because it gives her more health. She's an immobile mage, and she has that shield on top of that, and it still has a lot of power as well. People underestimate the power this item has. That in combination is a very, I wouldn't say guaranteed combo, but a very safe combo that will do a lot of work for her, and that could make her very, very scary compared to how she was before. This was, to some degree possible with Gem of Isolation, but the slow from Gem of Isolation or from Polymorph alone is just not, it's not exactly enough to guarantee a Royal Assault, whereas 45%-ish slow should make it a lot easier to hit it at least. Maybe not guaranteed, but depending on how the enemy's walking, good chance you can hit it. The reflex of the enemy will also be to run away every time, which makes it very predictable. The moment you drop Argus, you don't want to run into Argus. So maybe the smart move will be to run into Argus instead, but then you might still get slowed by Argus. So really, the moment somebody drops Argus on you, where are you going to go? What are you going to do? Unless you beats out and jump out, it might become a quick problem for you. And I've realized this with Artemis already in the current patch, that she, as an immobile hunter, has some issues against Terra, and some other gods do too. Not that many, because other gods have self-sustain, have more damage than her or anything alike, but those who can't get through Argus struggle a little bit against her, unless it's just a few gods. But with this set of changes, I think it might be quite a few more gods. And I know that, we can't predict how well this is going to go, or how much this is just speculation for now. But I'm going to make the prediction that she is going to be above the point of balance once people, start playing around this strat or start playing around other cooldown heavy strats and just get good at setting up the Run Assault with the Polymorph through the slow. And when that happens, we're going to see a very different face of Hera overall. And what is also going to happen is that people are going to start complaining, why did we buff her? She's too strong now. Again, prediction, but we told you guys you shouldn't have buffed her and she was fine in her original state. And to that I say, no, that is not the case. What is the case here is that she got a heavy set of buffs within a single patch, and it wasn't maybe not quite factored in how much of an impact this all has. Like the changes to Polymorph and the ult alone, I think could have been like, you know, one set of changes and then see how that goes and then do the other set. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's actually doing pretty well now, but that's just speculation. Hey, that's just a theory, a SMITE theory, and we'll find out. And with that, thank you guys very much for watching. This is it for this patch. I also like to mention again that I'm going to HRX. So if you go in there, feel free to say hi. And yeah, other than that, if you're new to the channel, feel free to click the sub button and maybe the bell. It helps me out. See you for the next one tomorrow. Check the code for the script check the description for a code. DukeSloth out.